In adolescence, we are talking about kids that are driving, right? They're riding with other kids that are driving. So knowing where they are is really about safety at this point. So present it as it's about safety, right? Because you need to be able to get to your kid fast if they need you. Okay. How you responded to things when they were little will decide how much they share with you now. Okay? So we started this very young. I know a 5-year-old who edits everything she says, right? She gives the right answer every time. Every time. And I look at her and I just kind of, and this is not one of my clients, right? So she gives the correct answer all the time, and her parents have no idea at all what she's thinking or feeling ever. And she could do this into adolescence, and her parents will have no idea where she is, what she's doing at all. And she will always give them the right answer. Now they can change this, but this child also has to be willing to give them another shot, that they might not, right? So we need to really be careful about what we say when we have conversations with them. So when they are sharing with you, first I want you to think of it as a gift, okay? Because they don't have to. Because this 5-year-old doesn't share, right? So it is a gift. It is a huge gift in adolescence, that they're telling you things about their life, about their friends, about where they're going, what they're doing, what their thoughts are, okay? So if you squash it, then they'll just not, right? They'll just not share it. They'll tell you trivial things. They'll just talk to you about math, right? But they won't tell you about what's really happening. So when they tell you things, you are to clarify the story. If you have questions like, not following along, or what do you mean? Who was driving? Where were y'all going? What was said? Where were you? I don't remember, right? That kind of stuff is fine. Ask them what their opinion is about it. Well, what do you think about that? What do you think about your friends doing that? Everybody was smoking today. They all went out back behind the school, after school, and they all started smoking. Oh, okay. Well, what do you think about that? And see what they say, right? Because you could be done. I think that's ridiculous. I don't know why they would go back there. They're going to all get in trouble. All right. Okay. Done. All right? So be careful about how you say it. Their peer group is most important, so they can be very hypersensitive to criticism about their friends. Sometimes when we hear stuff, that's when they were all smoking, I think it's ridiculous. Your response could be something like, they are so lucky to have you as their friend, because you can help them make better choices. You are a good friend to them. Right? I have said that before with my own kids. They've come to me with hard stuff that some of their friends have gone through. And I can't do anything. I mean, you know, they're just sharing with their friends. I can't get involved in some of that stuff. And I said, you know, she's very lucky to have you. And you're very sweet to listen, because she probably doesn't have someone to just listen. You are a good friend. Done. Because I can't fix it, and there's a lot of stuff that you can't fix either. All right? But we can be there and listen. So the other thing is, a lot of times we want to give advice, and we want to tell them what we did. Oh, this is what I did when I was younger. Oh, this happened to me. This is what I did. That's all okay, but I ask that you lead it with, do you mind if I tell you what I did? Would you like to know what I did when that happened to me? Right? It changes the whole conversation a bit, because then they get to have some say in it. Now, if they say no, I don't really care what you did, that's when you go, okay, and you just stop, right? Because you are respecting them then. Don't ask them a question and not respect their answer, right? If they say, no, I don't want to hear it, I don't know, actually, I don't really care what you did. And you kind of go, okay. And you don't get your feelings hurt, right? Because I actually don't. Or if they say yes, I do want to hear, then they are listening differently than if you were just sharing this information. Then they're not just rolling their eyes at you to hear the story, right? Now they're actually said, in their head, they went, okay, I have a choice. I actually might want to know what they did. So they are going to pay more attention to you. So ask. And ask if they want advice. Do you want help with this? Do you need any advice? Do you want help? They can say yes or no. If they say no, then you say, okay, but know that I'm here if you change your mind. Okay? That's a big difference than just doing it, than just telling them what to do and what you think about it. Okay? So you don't want to straighten out their thoughts. Okay? So, if your child comes home and says to you, so I've decided that I'm going to have sex with anyone I want, whenever I want, because everybody has sex. Right? Like, did you just cringe inside? You're like, hail to the no, you're not doing that. No, not in my house. Not if you're going to live here. Not if you're my child. We talked about this already. You're not doing anything like that. Right? Are you dying right now? Your child, like you had this visual, right? Okay, so I'm going to tell you how to respond to that, right? The best way to respond is to go, I didn't know you thought that way. Right? I didn't know you thought that way. And you kind of go, and you're right. Lots of people do have sex. Yeah. And I hope that you know how to be safe. And if you have any questions about being safe, just let me know. Done. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back up a little bit with this. And I'm assuming at this point that you have had conversations with your children about sex. Okay? This should start in 5th grade. 5th graders should know the physical part of sex, like the anatomy part of what sex is and how sex works. Like that part of it they should know. Now, as they grow, you need to add in the emotional and spiritual parts about sex that you believe in your family. What do you value? What do you want them to know about sex and what you think about it? Because it's really important. And that's not stated when your child just came in and said, I'm going to have sex with whoever I want, whenever I want. This is not the time for a life lesson, right? We teach life lessons when things are good. All the time. Even when they're little. When we want to talk about how to be a good friend, it's not when they just kick their friend. Right? It's when things are good. What do we value in friendships? Right? So life lessons are taught when times are good. So I'm assuming when you have this conversation that you have talked about all of this with them already. Okay? About sex, about safe sex, about the emotional parts of sex, about what you value in your family. If you have not done that, call me. I'm not kidding, because this needs to happen. If you are having a hard time having this conversation with your child, I totally get it. It is not an easy thing to do at all. I can do it by helping you through it. I can talk to you and help you know how to say it and how to get through it. And if we can't manage that, then I will do it for you with you. Okay? So we can be together and have this conversation with them. But it needs to be done. Them knowing about sex and love and all that stuff, safety and how to keep themselves safe, is really important in keeping them safe. Right? I have a hard time. I had this one little girl whose parents could not talk to her. Like, they got through just the basic anatomy stuff that you learn in 5th grade, right? They couldn't do it. So they're like, you got to do it. And I'm like, let's go. I picked her up for a drive. And I told her, because I was so afraid that things were going to happen to her and she was going to assume everything was a violation to her. And that's not necessarily what the intention is all the time. right? They misunderstand, or they might not know what a violation is if they don't have an understanding of what is normal or expected or loving or kind, right? You have to have these conversations with your kids. That is how they stay safe. Okay. When we talk about extreme things that they come up and announce, usually there's a reason that they've just come up and said, I'm going to have sex with everybody I want, whenever I want, wherever I want, right? They're kind of baiting you, right? They're baiting you to see if they can get you to respond. They're baiting you, and when you respond incorrectly, they get to hold on to that thought longer. When you respond with, no, you're not. My child will not be having sex at 15 or 16 years old. You will not do that. In their head, they went, oh, yeah, I will. Watch me. Right? Now you've just made it solid in their head that they're going to hold on to this thinking longer. When you respond with, I didn't know, I hope you can be safe, it allows them to sail through this thinking faster. They were just trying that on as an idea. And now I can just move past it because they didn't freak out and make me hold on to it longer, right? The same is true with music. So I had this one kiddo, and he listens to some dark stuff, right? Heavy rap with really ugly stuff going on. His parents freaking out. They don't want him to do that. He's depressed, right? Like, this child is depressed. His music fits, right? It fits his mood. When you are depressed, or sad, or upset, you don't want to watch Happy and Jolly. You're going for death and destruction, right? What kind of movie you want to watch? You want to watch a cute little romantic? No, I want to watch about death and destruction, right? This is where they are. It reflects where they are, right? It can also be about they're trying on different things and different kinds of music, and we can all like multiple different kinds of music. His music is really dark, and it got to the point where I'm like, okay, we're done. Please don't ever mention his music again, ever, because he was just going to sail through it. As he gets better and he's no longer depressed, his music is going to change. Is he going to leave rap completely? Probably not, but will it be a little lighter and not as dark? Yeah, right? But as soon as you start going, you aren't listening to that, we are not listening to that, guess what they're listening to? Right? They're going to hold on to it longer, when before it was just a passing idea that they were just trying on for a little while. Right? And now they're going to stick to it. You will not smoke. There is no smoking. There are no smokers in this house. Nobody in this family's ever smoked. You are not going to smoke. Guess what? Right? I didn't know you wanted to try smoking. All right, I don't know anything about it. But if you need me to get information I have is kind of negative, but let me know, right? And you just freed them to sail through it. And they don't have to hold on to it longer to prove a point to you in any way. Okay. Okay.